Welcome to Honest Whispers Review. On this video I'll be reviewing Street Fighter V or Street Fighter V Cammy 1/4 scale Ultra Collectible Statue Player 2 White exclusive from PCS Collectibles, or also known as Pop Culture Shock. Now I do have some issues with this statue. First and foremost, I just received this yesterday on April 20th, 2018. Didn't get to do a full inspection until this morning. And I did order two statues, one white, one pink. And they only sent me one, even though the invoice and the email said that two are on its way. And even on the shipping package, it says one white, one pink. And obviously the box is not big enough for two. Next issue I have, which is a huge issue, is basically the base. I did get the AP version. There's no designer or sculptor credited, just the name of the president on that. But the quality of the base on this particular one is very bad. I went back and saw the preview that I did on the pink Cammy at WonderCon 2018. And the base on that was way better. Like, it didn't look like, even though it's from far away, I couldn't see these rigid edges full of dimples and dents. So to me, the quality on this is very bad. And the worst part of all on this one is that you can see here during production, they messed up. Somebody dinged it, and then there was like a crack on the base, and they just overlooked it and painted over it, and now there's a crack on the paint. So no, there's no signs of dropping or damage. It just looks like poor production. And I don't know if someone returned this or not. As you can see throughout the whole base, top and bottom, there's always these little dings and dents. Here's another really bad one. I mean, it just looks like a birthday cake. It was kind of dented, so it has like pieces missing. And you can see like little dimples here, right there, just everywhere. Even on the bottom of the triangle, it's like dented in. And no, it's not supposed to be like that, because when you look at here, even though it has its little dents and dings of its own, as you can see right there above the wing, but the top corner is pretty much straight. It's not dented in or anything like that. Of course, the rock area and stuff like that, the skull, everything looks fine. Any imperfection will probably add to the effect anyways. But I am very bothered about the quality of this base. So I don't know if they can replace this or not. I'm hoping they can. Although it is an AP version, so there is a signature on the bottom of the base, which I do like. It would probably help the value of this on the long run. But still, for me, that's kind of a bothersome, because it looks like somebody returned this. And believe it or not, I mean, everything from the card, which you can see the corners are folded and dinged up, which this is a little bit more tolerable. But for me, the lithograph, I'm hoping they can replace, because this came out folded and creased up. So you can see right there, there is a slight, it was kind of like bent in the thing. So I don't know who did that. Probably either a customer or whatever, the worker that repackaged. There's a crease right there. It's kind of curved, like somebody put a cup on there. And there's like creases here on the bottom. All the corners pretty much folded up. These are all like folded up and then dinged up. So yeah, I have to use a bit of the reflection. But yeah, unhappy about that. And here's the worst part too. Like, I'm sorry, but whoever, whether if it's a customer or a worker, whoever repackaged this is, and I'm trying to be nice, but it is not smart. Is, you know, you could easily just keep this. It looks like they just kind of like jammed the whole thing in there, you know, and then these things probably got caught, and just these things got caught and probably got folded when they tried to fold it in. That's just so dumb. It's like, I mean, even right here, like, it's almost like they just try to jam the, you know, the tabs and the flaps in. So it's like, I'm disappointed in that. The box isn't even numbered, so I'm hoping that they could go ahead and replace it or exchange it, whatever you want to call it. Usually when I spoke with the representative at WonderCon, they did say that they usually make extra replacement parts. So I have flaws with that. And then another flaw I have is with the Portrait A, or the regular portrait. As you can see at close range, her eyes are cross-eyed. Like, the white color between the pupil and her nose of her right eye, there's barely any white color there. Her left eye looks pretty centered. You can see a lot of white painting, white color. This one, you could barely see any white at all. So obviously it's not symmetrical, and then the closer or further away you look, the more it begins to start looking cross-eyed. So when you look at an angle like this, then it doesn't look cross-eyed. But when you look straight forward, yeah, that's one of the biggest issues I have with statues, are cross-eyed painting. And it's so simple for them not to do that, because they could use paint cards to basically color, you know, the pupils and everything. Another issue I have here is the right braid. Now this is an exclusive, so it comes with an extra portrait and 2 sets of braids. So this is the only braid that's really all scuffed up and scratched up. And no, I can, you know, it's not my fault or anything. I could easily put these on and off without scratching it. And with this statue, you do have to be careful. The head is magnetic. The 2 braids just have a metal peg. And then the foot has like a block peg with a metal frame peg going in the middle. So that comes in different pieces. And then of course the bangs, that also has a peg. So overall, this bangs right here, I don't know what the issues are. The other bang didn't look as bad as this, so I don't know if they could replace that as well for this portrait. So that's something I would probably inquire with them about. Now this is the alternate portrait, and this is the one I like better. And as you can see on the eyes, now it's not completely symmetrical, because if you go by the scale of how much white paint there is, you could see that her right eye doesn't have as much, but then this is way more even than, you know, I mean, it's tolerable at this level, because even, I mean, you could see slight cross-eyedness, but at this point, I mean, I could tolerate this. The other one is just so bad compared to this, so I'm hoping that I could have that exchanged. And as you can see on the hair of this, so that I could get in the There are no scuffing. There are no scratches. So no, I didn't do that or anything like that. It came like that, which I'm upset about. So I'm hoping that PCS has that one to exchange. So to review the statue, I'm going to go over 5 different categories. First category is design, which basically goes over the concept and the pose of the statue. And as you can see here, this is a portrait of one of her kicks that she's doing. The execution of it is pretty good. I do like the 3D version of this pose. It's very dynamic. You can see even some special effects they added on top of the base for her kick. And you can display this in many different angles because it's so dynamic. So if you get sick of one angle, you could always kind of turn it around. I do like the design of the way the braids are flying up. So it does show some real physics, like how her momentum, she's going downwards, so her hair is kind of like on her trail. So it has a cool effect. Now it does make it a tall statue, as you can see when I zoom out. And when I measured it, this is basically about 29 to 30 inches tall when you account for the braids. So yeah, definitely huge. The more I look at it, the more I tend to like it. So it's just kind of like, yeah, I think the design is one of the best Cammy poses and statues I've seen. And I do own a few, but this one definitely, when I look at the overall details and everything, definitely looks nice. And other than the flaws of the base, I mean, the design of the base is pretty cool. You have the Shadow Lu statue or sculpt, you know, because it's not like a skull. You could see it's like there's a lightning bolt on the top of the skull with the wings on the side. So it's like she's smashing the Shadow Lu insignia or little statue, whatever it is. So that's kind of a cool concept. I'm gonna give the score a 10 out of 10 on the design. Once again, the more I look at it, the more I'm starting to like it. I mean, I liked it from the start, which is why I bought it, but I'm liking it even more. So next category is sculpting. Sculpting basically goes over the execution, the details, and the quality of the molding. And as you can see, just looking at this artwork and then looking at, because most likely the artwork came first, I think it's executed really well. Definitely has a realism to it. Everything from the details on her braids, her hair. I love the way the gloves and the fingers are sculpted. Really has a nice look where it's solid. You know, if the base had this quality, this fine lines, it would have been perfect. So that's kind of what it reminds me of when I look at her gloves. The roundness, the round perfect curves on the edges, and look at that, the way it kind of Her elbow part kind of stands out right there. The details, the wrinkles on the gloves and the hands and fingers, all well proportioned. It doesn't get stubby in one area. If I could focus here, even this hand. Her bangs come in a different piece as well. And as I mentioned, her bottom bang on this looks way better. It doesn't look dented or broken or repaired like the other bangs. So I definitely inquire with PCS regards to that. It's just unfortunate there's so much flaws. Here's the other side of the glove. Her costume is very nicely detailed. Everything from the side of her leotard or bodysuit, the leather straps. Here's the back of the braids, of course. Pretty realistic muscle definition. It's not too much, and you know, it's not too little. I guess it could have been a little bit smoother. But still, when you look at the rest of the body, now as you can see, there are her butt overall is sculpted like near perfectly, but I do have minor issues here. You could see on her left butt cheek, there's like two dimple lines, one right there on the top and then one right here near the bottom. On her right butt cheek there are two dimples as well, slightly different though looking. This one right here on the top middle, it kind of creases in, and then right here on the bottom right here, as I kind of scan over, you see a very slight indentation. So back and forth, you'll see right here, just, I know it's hard to see, but right there at the fingertips. So it's small, minor, but then still it is noticeable though. Going over the rest of the body, her legs, thighs, everything's pretty smooth. No like molding issues or anything like that. As I mentioned at the WonderCon preview, I love the soles of her feet. I think that's just so awesome how they sculpted that. And of course, when you look close, there are some minor imperfections. Like right here, there's like some indentation, some cracking going on, which is tolerable overall. But still, compared to what I saw at WonderCon, yeah, definitely looking at it up close, you do see a little bit more flaws. So on the sculpting, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. And on this particular one, because of the base, I mean, if the base was okay, but because of the base quality and at least the one that I received, I have to be honest, this has to be at least an 8 out of 10. So sculpting, I'm gonna go ahead and give it an actual 8 out of 10 on mine. So next category is painting, and painting basically covers the quality of the paint, the accuracy and everything. And for this, the Player 2 color, the white painting, the colors very accurate. It is overall matte finish, so the paint quality is pretty good. Now on her costume though, it's not like a full gloss, but then there are some gloss finish to it, so you could see a bit of a shine to it. especially on our leotard or bodysuit. So there is some contrast, like you don't see that kind of bright shine or reflection off the skin tone or even the blue, like her gloves and hats, than you would on the bodysuit. So that has a nice effect on it. Now when you start looking up close, there are some paint issues and flaws. You could see some of the light blue bordering on top of the black strap. I know it is indented or sculpted out, so that's usually kind of where I would see most of the issues. Another, for instance, another example would be the, I guess, the light blue or the white. Because technically it is white, but when you look up close, you can notice that there is a, it looks more like a light blue than white. So anyway, the white boots, you can see the white paint kind of going over the blue socks. Lines are not straight, they're a bit squiggly. Even on this boot, the right boot, much better, but still you could see some slight imperfections here and there. Even right there, there's a bit of a molding problem where there's a little bump that they didn't clean out or shave off or sand out. Rest of the boot, very nice details. As I mentioned on the WonderCon preview, like the laces and stuff, I really like how they did the details on that, especially the wrinkles on the boots. Just very realistic look to it. And even on this boot, you can see the bottom of the soles and then the skull. So everything's well proportioned. I do like the sculpting overall. I am disappointed in the base and the painting itself. The colors are accurate and I do like the overall colors. I am very disappointed in the cross-eyed regular portrait and the scuffed paint on the right braid, which I can show you here again now that I've taken the piece out. So yeah, I could take it on and off without scratching this. I don't see why someone, whoever did this, can end up doing so much of it. So it looks like probably wasn't during the on and off. Maybe it was just kind of rough. They packaged it wrong or something, or stored it wrong, and then maybe it just got scuffed up. These are the bangs. Like I said, like these bangs look near perfect, but these, when I look up close, you can see all these weird dented marks or chips. So I don't know about that. So as I said, that's the reason why I brought the sculpting score down to 8. But as far as the painting goes, yeah, it's not as good as I thought it is, especially the cross-eyed part. That really makes me upset. So on the painting, I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10. Next category is value, and for the value, this retails at $4.20. I did get like I mentioned, I did get a bit of a discount, but I didn't get a condition saying that because I'm buying at a discount price, I'm gonna get a low quality or damaged or blemished statue, or flawed one. So depending on what PCS says, I don't know if I'll end up returning, or I just hope they have the replacement parts, that at least for the braids and the portrait. And I don't know about the base, because I'm just trying to be realistic, but if they can, I'll be very happy, and this is definitely a keeper. So I could see the value going up. I know this is already sold out, and the white color is probably one of the more popular ones. And just to give you a perspective, the white and the pink one cost, and I know they're exclusive too, but then they cost about $20 more. So the green one might be 400, retailing at 400, or even around 380 maybe. But the white and the pink definitely are 420 each. So with that said, and being positive about this statue, the value, aftermarket value going up, because in about 5 years from now, possibly 7, between 5 to 10 years, I could see this close to double its price. So this could, comparing this to like other type of sideshow statues, this would probably be at around, I would say like $700-800, maybe 1,000. If that is, that'd be great. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and put the value score at 10 out of 10. So overall, when I recount all the scores preceding this for design, sculpting, painting, and value, it's definitely up there. And I don't want to be biased, but Cammy is one of my favorite video game characters. Definitely behind Chun-Li, but or Chun-Li, however you want to pronounce her name. But either way, I think she's up there on my list. I like her a lot, and especially this costume color. It's my favorite color now, ever since Street Fighter V came out. So for me, overall, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. So to recap, design, 10 out of 10. Sculpting, 9 out of 10. But for my statue, 8 out of 10. Painting, 8 out of 10. Value, 10 out of 10. And overall, 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Until next time, if I ever get my pink Cammy, may do that video.